For decades, she was the radiant voice that defined an entire era of stage and screen. With just a single note, Julie Andrews could transport millions into a world of childlike wonder. But behind that graceful smile and those breathtaking performances lay a hidden story of ruthless industry pressures, heartbreaking setbacks, and a relentless fight for reinvention. How did this beloved icon go from conquering Broadway and Hollywood to having the very gift that defined her taken away? And what unexpected truths did she hide from the cameras all along? Stay with me, because the journey of Julie Andrews is as startling as it is inspiring. And it may just change everything you thought you knew about one of entertainment's most cherished legends. The unlikely path to stardom. Julie Andrews' story begins in a place far from Hollywood glamour, post-war England. Born Julia Elizabeth Wells on October 1st, 1935, she was raised amidst a patchwork family who performed in vaudeville and entertained soldiers during World War II. From an early age, Julie discovered she had a vocal gift unlike anything most people had ever heard: perfect pitch. It was her stepfather, Ted Andrews, a Canadian bee entertainer, who first noticed. While many children sing simply for fun, Julie's voice soared to professional heights even before she turned 10. But her childhood was hardly the picture of serenity. She discovered, at just 14, that the man she believed was her biological father actually wasn't. Her real father had been a family friend. Yet despite these revelations, Julie embraced the makeshift nature of her family. She clung to music and performance as lifelines that gave her a sense of purpose. Training under Madame Lillian Stiles Allen, she spent hours in chilly rooms, determined to master every note. The rigorous schedule paid off. By 12, she was already a professional performer. At 13, she stunned royalty, singing at the Royal Command Variety Performance, a historical first for someone her age. With unwavering determination, young Julie took each new stage by storm. And still, there was a cost lurking beneath all the success. Even as she found herself hailed as Britain's youngest prima donna, the relentless demands of rehearsal, travelling, and the weight of skyrocketing expectations became heavier by the day. Little did she realize that fame's bright lights could also cast the darkest shadows. But even this early breakthrough was just the beginning, her first step onto a path that would lead her straight to Broadway and beyond. From Broadway to Hollywood's darling. When Julie Andrews arrived on Broadway, it felt as though the New York theatre scene had been waiting for her all along. She dazzled in The Boyfriend, then took the stage by storm in My Fair Lady, portraying Eliza Doolittle with such grace that critics and audiences alike couldn't get enough. Night after night, she delivered pitch-perfect performances. All of Manhattan buzzed with talk of the new star with the ethereal voice. Hollywood noticed. Almost immediately, studios came knocking. Walt Disney himself had to have her for Mary Poppins. It was a role that would change her life forever. Released in 1964, Mary Poppins made her a household name, winning her the Oscar for Best Actress. The following year, she starred in The Sound of Music, which cemented her status as the silver screen's go-to actress for wholesome musicals. Suddenly, her face was everywhere. Families packed theatres to see her sing, and children around the world belted A Spoonful of Sugar at the top of their lungs. Yet when success arrives too quickly, there's often a hidden price. While Mary Poppins and The Sound of Music raked in millions, they also locked Julie into a narrow image, the innocent, sweet-natured singer. She soon felt a growing itch to prove she was more. Meanwhile, Hollywood's clock was ticking, ready to show her how ruthless it could be. But the bubble that lifted her to the top was about to burst, and it would happen in the most dramatic way possible. Controversies and Reinventions. After 2 massive hits in a row, studios scrambled to replicate the success, casting Julie in roles that tested the audience's willingness to see her in different lights. Films like Torn Curtain with Alfred Hitchcock earned mixed reviews, and when Star, and Darling Lily underperformed in a big way, the industry that once adored her began to back away. Lavish musicals were losing their allure at the box office, and executives saw her as an emblem of a bygone trend. Julie's response? Reinvention. Rather than retreat, she took on daring projects that rattled her image. She launched the Julie Andrews Hour, a variety TV show showcasing broader comedic and dramatic talents. Critics applauded, but audiences didn't tune in, prompting the network to cancel it after just one season. An ironic move, considering the show later snatched 7 Emmy Awards. Determined not to become a relic, she upped the ante. She ventured into nightclubs, performing sultry jazz numbers. In this smoky, intimate setting, she presented a side of herself people had never seen. She made risque jokes, traded on her good girl reputation by poking fun at it, and proved she could hold her own in any environment. Then came her roles in more provocative films like S.O.B., where she famously appeared topless, sending shockwaves through audiences who had grown up seeing her as practically the embodiment of purity. She capped her reinvention by taking on Victor Victoria, playing a woman pretending to be a man, who was also a female performer on stage. The movie dove into gender identity themes Hollywood rarely tackled, and it worked. Audiences embraced it. She earned a Golden Globe and an Oscar nomination, and it seemed like she'd discovered a new path to stardom. But with every reinvention, new risks emerged. Some in Hollywood whispered that she was defying the wholesome brand that had made her a star. Others cheered her on for challenging the system. Nonetheless, in her personal life, an even greater struggle was unfolding, one that would threaten the very foundation of her fame. And the next chapter would prove just how fragile even the strongest legends can be. The heartbreaking voice loss. During the mid-1990s, Julie Andrews was back on Broadway, enthralling audiences in a stage adaptation of Victor Victoria. But with each performance, she noticed her voice feeling more strained than usual. At first, she chalked it up to exhaustion, a natural side effect of singing nightly. But the hoarseness didn't improve. Instead, it worsened. Eventually, doctors found a lesion on her vocal cords that needed surgery. In June 1997, she checked into Mount Sinai Hospital in New York, hoping for a routine procedure that would remove the lesion and preserve her famous pipes. Instead, everything went horribly wrong. Scar tissue formed on her vocal cords, permanently damaging her ability to sing and even making normal speech a struggle for a time. All the bright lights of her musical past suddenly faded. The voice that had brought her global fame had been silenced in one swift stroke. The heartbreak was overwhelming. She spent months grappling with grief and anger, reportedly filing a lawsuit against the hospital for not fully explaining the risks. While the matter was eventually settled, the reality remained unshakable. Her glorious singing voice was gone for good. The public was devastated too. Many had grown up hearing her crystalline notes echo from record players, radios, and television sets. Now, the icon who once ruled musicals couldn't perform the songs that defined so many childhoods. And while some stars might have faded quietly, Julie found her own way to cope, although it meant turning away from the microphone she'd relied on her entire life. Still, that wasn't her only heartache. Behind the scenes, she faced yet another mountain to climb. Love, loss, and private battles. It's tempting to think of celebrity marriages as all red carpets and glamorous premieres. But Julie Andrews' personal life reveals a quieter, more complicated story of devotion and heartbreak. After a first marriage to Tony Walton, who designed costumes for her Mary Poppins role, ended in divorce, she found love again with director Blake Edwards. Legend has it that they encountered each other outside a therapist's office, a coincidental twist that might have come straight from a movie script. They married in 1969, blending their families and soon adopting 2 daughters from Vietnam in the mid-70s. Working together on films like Victor Victoria, they discovered that collaboration could be challenging, but also deeply bonding. fans saw a golden Hollywood couple who supported each other through ups and downs. Yet as Edwards aged, his health became a major concern. Julie stood by his side, watching a man known for his witty spirit gradually fade. When he passed in 2010, the loss weighed heavily on her. This was the same period when she was dealing with the devastation of losing her singing voice. In her own words, it felt like losing part of her identity twice over. First, the melodic gift that had defined her career. Then, the partner who had been her anchor for decades. Still, through the grief, she found a purpose that would spark a new era of creativity and resilience. And that next chapter would reveal a surprising source of strength she never knew she had. A new chapter. Reinvention after tragedy. In the absence of her signature voice, Julie Andrews shifted her passion to writing. Collaborating with her daughter, Emma Walton Hamilton, she penned children's books that captured the same magic and wonder she used to bring to the stage. The pages became a new stage, an outlet where her imagination could roam freely. She also authored memoirs that offered an unfiltered look at her remarkable life, discussing everything from her tumultuous childhood to the intricate details of her relationships. Audiences also saw glimpses of this fresh energy in her film and TV appearances. She ventured into voiceover work. Ironic, perhaps, given her vocal challenges. But in projects like the Princess Diaries franchise, she cleverly used her refined speaking voice, reminding fans that she still possessed the commanding presence that had once captivated them from the big screen. Eventually, she found that her identity didn't rely solely on hitting the high notes that once made her famous. Instead, it lay in her ability to connect with people through books, spoken performances, and heartfelt interviews. As the years passed, she became a revered figure in the entertainment industry, standing as proof that losing one of your greatest gifts doesn't mean you lose yourself entirely. You adapt, transform, and find new paths to share your talents. That transformation, however, leaves an enduring question. After everything she's been through, what is the true legacy Julie Andrews leaves behind? Julie Andrews' story is a testament to both the precarious heights of fame and the resilience needed when life strips away what you treasure most. She soared into stardom as Broadway's Golden Girl, went on to Hollywood superstardom with Mary Poppins and The Sound of Music, and then fought to shake off the very image that had made her beloved worldwide. She took controversial roles, defied industry pigeonholes, and battled personal demons no camera lens ever captured. At her peak, she lost her voice. Yet from that unimaginable blow emerged a writer, a mentor, and a living legend who proved that a single setback, even one as colossal as losing the world's most famous singing voice, does not define a person's future. Most of all, she reminds us that every star has unseen struggles, no matter how bright. The real heroism is in facing them with courage and grace. So the next time you hear the faint echo of "The hills are alive," or see a clip of her chimney-sweeping adventures, remember that the woman behind the music is far more complex than any single role. Julie Andrews' journey may have started with a voice for the ages, but her lasting legacy is the timeless resilience and determination she's shown ever since. Thank you for watching and diving deep into the life of this extraordinary icon. If her story made you think differently about perseverance and reinvention, share your thoughts below.